Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms, and these are Charter Moms Chats, and we've been going live to share with families the resources and tips that they need to keep their kids learning during the pandemic. And we've had some wonderful guests this week, and I'm really excited. On this Friday, we're going to be talking about Black History Month, and our guest is, oh gosh, I forgot to ask how to pronounce your name. Deborah, would you please pronounce your name for us?
Sure. Deborah Omowale Jarmon. Hi, everyone.
Deborah Omowale Jarmon, just like it's written, right? What was I afraid of? Okay. Of course, my name is Inga. I answer to all variations of Inga. So Deborah is the CEO director of the San Antonio African American Community Archive and Museum, which also goes by the abbreviation SAAACAM. And
Yes.
so that is a lot easier to say, SAAACAM. But I love the name because it expresses the mission. So let's see. So Deborah has had a career as an air traffic controller, which I think is awesome. What a cool job. and she also ran a B&B in King William.
Yes.
And she is a grandma. So like that's what brought you here, was being near grandbabies, right?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Deborah, and then
Thank you for
you
having
shared
me.
with us. Yeah, you shared with us a video about SAAACAM. But is there anything you want to say to kind of set us up for the video?
Sure. What I want to say is, first of all, thank you for this opportunity, and all you charter parents out there. Just know that even though there are specialty months to celebrate different cultures, that everyone's culture is a part of American history, and it can be celebrated every day.
Yeah, that's a really good message. Yeah, like I want to be learning about Black history every month, but Black History Month gives me a good excuse to make sure that this item that I've been wanting to do gets done. It gets up on the blog so we can share it with
Yes.
everybody. So, oh, and we have a comment. April Dixon is watching, and she says, "So excited to hear today's guest." Thank you, April.
Hi, April.
Okay, so I'm going to, let's see. Okay, I'm going to bring the video on screen, and here we go.
The San Antonio African American Community Archive and Museum was founded 3.5 years ago by George Frederick, a community servant, and National Humanities Award winner Everett Fly. SAAACAM's mission is to collect, preserve, and share the African American cultural heritage of the San Antonio region. SAAACAM was originally housed in the Sutton family homestead at 430 North Cherry Street, right across from San Antonio's Fire Station Number 1. The Suttons leave a rich legacy. Samuel J. Sutton started the first Black public school in Texas, Riverside School, right here in San Antonio in 1898. Business owners, educators, politicians, attorneys, and physicians, the Suttons leave an incredible legacy across the nation, including G.J. Sutton, the first Black Texas legislator, Percy Sutton, Malcolm X's personal attorney, Dr. Carrie Jane Sutton Brooks, one of the first Black interns at Freedmen's Hospital in Washington, D.C., and a founder of the San Antonio Pine Street YWCA, Judge Oliver Sutton, San Antonio educator Lillian Sutton, to name a few. The legacy of the Suttons inspired our first digital exhibit, available on our website. We are so excited to move into our new exhibit space at La Villita Historic Arts Village, just steps from the San Antonio River in downtown San Antonio. A neighboring location in La Villita is the original home of St. Philip's College. St. Philip's College is the only historically Black college and university and Hispanic serving institution in the United States. Come visit us at La Villita and learn all about San Antonio's Black history. The exhibit space at La Villita will feature 2 galleries and a museum shop with local artisans' work. Come visit us, learn, explore, and have fun while we bring San Antonio's Black history to life. New programming offers for 2021 include our film series that will be in the spring and the fall at the Arneson River Theater. The film series is sponsored by Humanities Texas. Also for 2021 is our 1-hour-long Black History River Tour. Join us on the beautiful San Antonio River as we explore San Antonio's Black history as it relates to the heart of the city. Go to our website, SAAACAM.org, and reserve your seat today. Are you staying in these days? Well, don't worry. San Antonio's Black history is just a click away. Our website, SAAACAM.org, is filled with San Antonio Black history. On our website, click Learn to access the drop-down menu. You will find digital exhibits created for mobile or desktop exploration, short histories submitted by the community, view research papers by the Methods of Historical Research class at Texas A&M San Antonio on our website. That class was inspired by SAAACAM founder Everett Fly. Texas A&M's digital library is also the new home of our archive, just recently moved from the University of North Carolina Southern Historical Collection. The archive will be available for online exploration soon. We collaborate with St. Mary's University as a part of their public history program and the Trinity University Humanities Collective. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay informed of our upcoming virtual discussions. You can also view past virtual discussions on the SAAACAM website under Learn. In the summer of 2020, 2 students from Johnson High School approached SAAACAM and asked what they could do to make a difference. Out of that conversation, Race Ed was born. Race Ed is our virtual curriculum to have conversations with all ages about social justice. Each month, we explore tough topics for all ages by way of stories, activities, virtual discussions, and more. The topics include stereotyping, historical Eurocentric education, diasporic education, white privilege, systemic racism, cultural celebrations, racial pride and Black dignity, allyships. We learn the deep-rooted history of these issues and discover how we can change the course of history and create a more tolerant and inclusive society. The unique thing about SAAACAM, we are community curated. We involve the community in all aspects of our programming. The community, along with our research team, uncovers buried African American history throughout the San Antonio region, like this story of the Wilcox Ranch, the last remaining operating ranch in Jake's Colony, Seguin, Texas. The Wilcox Ranch has been operational for over 150 years. SAAACAM provides community-safe spaces to learn about San Antonio's African American history through pop-up exhibits. This is a depiction of a pop-up exhibit at Pittman Sullivan Park, celebrating 100 years of the National Negro League founded by Texan Rube Foster. Engaging children is an integral part of SAAACAM's programming, like story times across the city or our day camps. We are proud to introduce our children's history guides, Sunny and Sassy. Sunny is a 10-year-old boy, and the dog's name is Sassy. Sunny and Sassy will take children through a magical journey, learning all about San Antonio Black history. As a community archive and museum, it is important for us to engage in the community. Community engagement puts a face with the museum, establish trust, which in turn helps us to grow the San Antonio African American Archive. Here is an example of the work that we can do based on the information that you submit to our archive. These are 2 stories submitted through our web portal from 2 different women discussing their experience with segregated San Antonio. One woman is Black and one woman is white. African American history crosses all cultures and is American history. Contact us today to record your story, scan your documents and pictures, and let your story be a part of history. San Antonio's Black history runs wide and deep. Examples are Valmo Charles Bellinger, businessman, politician, owner of the San Antonio Register, one of the first Black newspapers in San Antonio. Or Booker T. Washington, who frequented San Antonio to visit his friends, the Suttons. This is a picture of Mr. Washington at a Douglas School program. Also, Myra Davis Hemmings, one of the founders of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Myra Davis Hemmings was also a founder of the local chapter, an actress, a producer, and an accomplished educator. There's Ellis Griffin, born in 1875 to emancipated parents. He had 100 acres just off of Wetmore Road in Thousand Oaks, right here in San Antonio. You can find out more about San Antonio's Black history by looking into our archive, looking at our digital exhibits, or contacting us through our website. Stay connected with SAAACAM by following us on social media or subscribing to our newsletter. As soon as you open SAAACAM.org, you will be greeted with a pop-up window asking you to join our newsletter. Become a member of SAAACAM for as little as $15 a year. Your membership helps us to keep most of our programming free to the public, and it supports the work that we do. Membership has its perks, like selected programming and lectures specifically for our membership, receptions, first look at our exhibit space, and more. Become a member today and support your San Antonio African American Community Archive and Museum. If you would like more information or if you have questions about SAAACAM, feel free to contact us at admin@saacam.org. Again, admin@saacam.org. Thank you. And as we write our history together, we will see you in the history books.
Deborah, that was fantastic. What a great introduction. Oh, Deborah, you're still on mute.
Yikes. 100
Really,
days
we
in
need a
hardcore
t-shirt that says
Minecraft.
that, right?
Listen up. I know 100 days may not
That's
sound
true.
that impressive, but 100 days in
Oh,
Minecraft?
the next YouTube video
Oh.
played. I think that's
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'm trying to get smoother at the transitions here. Okay, I stopped screen sharing, so now it's just the two of us. Okay. I think my son's been watching videos about Minecraft, so that's what my YouTube channel defaults to.
Oh, funny.
So, well, I'm so what a great introduction, because it talked about like all the amazing programs you do, ways to get involved, like membership and the children's programming and signing up for the newsletter, which I love getting the update. I'm a member, so I feel like the newsletters are just really rich with information. Let's see, April was commenting about how much she loves being a member as well. So that's
Thank you,
something
April.
I hope stay away. So I wanted to, as you said in the introduction, it's always a good month to study about Black history and the history of all the cultures in America. But why is February designated as Black History Month? How did that come about?
So Dr. Carter G. Woodson, he is the founder of Negro History Week. It was originally 1 week, the second week in February. He chose the second week because that is the week of President Abraham Lincoln's birthday and Frederick Douglass's birthday. And also, I mentioned that in the blog writing, so make sure you all read the blog and our newsletter. So the whole reason why Negro History Week came about is because we, as African Americans, needed some place to be able to show our pride. And also, it allowed everyone else in the country to reassess what they're doing in terms of race. And that hasn't gone away. 95 years later, we're still doing the same thing. Our children need to see that African Americans are an integral part of our community. And other people need to understand and assess what they're doing to support. Again, this is Black History Month. I'm not going to take anything away from that. We celebrate Black history 24/7, 365. But what is so relevant is that people of color, their stories are told and understood. So our children will respect them more. There is some research that says children have a sense of race by the time they're anywhere from 4 to 6 years old, and their own ideas of race are established by the time they're 12. So if they are only hearing one side of history, and if I am I'm going to say the conqueror. I don't really like that word, but for just for this conversation, I'm going to say that. If I am the conqueror, then I'm going to write the story as if I'm the hero. And so everyone else, then they're not. If you're not the hero, then what are you? You're the villain. And so our children they're reading history that is swayed because it is written by the so-called hero. And that is how social injustices are perpetuated, because again, by 12 years old, it's already ingrained in our children's mind. So when they get to college and read, oh, history? Wait, Christopher Columbus was a pirate? He was kicked out of Spain? Now so much has been indoctrinated into who they are that it's very challenging to make that shift. You
That
didn't
is
ask for all that, Inga. I'm sorry.
I welcome it. I welcome it. I'm, no, that adds so much richness. I encourage everyone to, in the description of the video, there's a link to the blog post, and there's resources there, and there's good stuff. But the way you describe that is so well put that, I think it has a big impact on kids, to, read stories of, see images of, how many, well, like, so, I mean, a big part of what SAAACAM does is share the stories of, African Americans who have had a big impact on San Antonio over the years.
Absolutely.
Like the video talked about the SUTTON family, very
Mhm.
distinguished. Had, and I remember I did the like a virtual Black History tour of the East Side from, Melanize Media, and
Mhm.
I was just blown away because, like, I mean, I've driven through those streets, to get to the Alamo Dome and back, but
Right.
but there's like so much more. Or I've gone to Idea Carver, right? That's in
Mhm.
that neighborhood, the heart of the East Side. But, like, there's so much to it. There's so much richness, and some of it's been
Mhm.
lost, as the city has sprawled and, people move out to the suburbs. But it's really important to know those stories about San Antonio. I love San Antonio. I wasn't born here. I came from California, but I love learning about San Antonio, and I want to know those stories too. I want to know about the Black cemeteries. I want to know about, like, the Black newspapers and businesses, and
Mhm.
the, amazing, like, doctors and judges, and just all the cool stuff they did.
Mhm. Cool.
Yeah. So can you tell me, like, in a nutshell, like, the mission of SAAACAM? And I know you have it in your email signature, so it's something you guys, it's front and center.
Yes. So the mission of SAAACAM is to collect, preserve, and share the African American cultural heritage of the San Antonio region. And we talk a lot about more contemporary history in the 1900s for a couple reasons. One, the census really only documents Negroes then, or colored people, by name starting in the 1870s. So before that, if you were enslaved, you were just documented as boy or girl. So there was no name. So it's a little more challenging to find early history. But what we do know, for instance, enslaved Africans came to the United States in 1526. You hear a lot about 1619 in Jamestown, Virginia, but actually South Carolina in 1526. The first African that set foot here in what is now Texas was Estevanico, and that was in 1529. And he was here with the Spanish uh, colonialists that came to look at what was then called Spanish Texas. So anyway, we start at 1529 and come to current.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's a lot to cover. And then, like, there's events like Juneteenth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That started out as being, sort of maybe part of a subculture, but are now being more widely recognized, across all
Absolutely.
cultures. That, yeah. Oh, I guess in case somebody hasn't heard yet about what Juneteenth is for, could you kind of explain, like, why that's celebrated?
Yes. So when Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, for various reasons, it took a long time, okay, 2 years, 2.5 years for it to get to Texas. And so General Granger in Galveston, Texas, read the proclamation that all enslaved people were free on June 19th. And so that is why you'll hear African Americans celebrate Juneteenth. But let me just take that one step further. What you don't hear much about in the history books, which is surprising because we are here in Texas, you hear a lot about the Underground Railroad going north, but you don't hear about it going south. And Louisiana and Texas went south across the um, Rio Grande to be free. And so there is also a celebration in a lot of areas in Mexico called Dia de los Negros, which is also Juneteenth.
Wow. I didn't know that. See, I'm learning stuff all over the place.
So
I didn't know
that's why
that.
you
Yeah.
have to be a member of SAAACAM. That's, yeah, we're gonna put. We're gonna actually talk about. We have a whole program for the African Mexican connection that will be in May. So make sure you all mark your calendars. All of our programming is free.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Wow, that sounds amazing. And like I saw in the video, there's links. Like I'm really curious about as I've been researching blog posts, right? I learned that San Antonio ISD dates back to 1899, and that the first Catholic schools in San Antonio date back to 1851. But so now I'm getting curious about the history of Black schools in San Antonio. So I saw y'all have some stuff on your website. There's a virtual exhibit about that. So I need to read up on that.
You do, and it's interesting. The first African American school here in San Antonio was started by the Freedmen's Bureau, and it was at this is where I need you all's help. It was at the St. James AME Church. Now, there was a tuition that students had to pay, and then the Suttons, actually Samuel Sutton, started the first free school, Riverside School, in 1898, I believe it is. But that's on our website. But this is why the foundation, because that's in the news right now, right
at the San Pedro Creek Culture Park, right?
The Culture Park, that they want to erase the African American culture. Anyway, I won't be political. What's important about that space is it was the first African American school here, the second oldest congregation here in San Antonio, and a lot of people that made a difference to the fiber of our community went to that church, not just to the African American community. So February 16th, 6 o'clock, public comment session. And you can go to SAAACAM, San Antonio River Authority, to get the information. All right, that was my commercial.
Well, you're reinforcing a message that, we talk to the parents, especially in the discussion group, right? We're over 7,000 strong in the San Antonio Charter Moms discussion group. And some of us are there because we need to know about after school activities, or, we're choosing a new school for our kids. But, I'm always trying to reinforce the power of parent voices, and grandparent voices and aunts and uncles, guardians. When we speak up about what our kids need, it makes a difference. And so, we're trying to improve equity in education, improve the fairness of school finance. And, I want everyone to know, who's your state rep, who's your state senator. And if you're not happy about how your school is funded, if you're not happy about special education or standardized testing, figure out who to complain to and do it. And we're here to help.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, I look forward to, continuing the conversation with you. I'm sure there's, more things that we want to share. I'm going to find that the virtual exhibit about Black schools and share that in the group so that folks can.
Please do. I think you'll find it quite interesting.
Yeah, and it goes back to what you said earlier, which is not just during Black History Month, but all the time. We need to always remember that African Americans are part of American history, and that especially for young children, they need to be hearing the stories and seeing the pictures and be aware of how African Americans are shaping our society, and not just read the stories written by sort of quote unquote the winners or the conquerors of history. Right. We need to hear everybody's stories.
Absolutely. And when you as you saw in the video, when we talk about everyone's story it somehow connects. All of our stories are connected, right? So you don't have to be African American to give your archive, to give your story to SAAACAM. Like you saw with Peggy. Her story is amazing. Please go on our website and read it. She couldn't figure out why Black people had to sit in the back of the bus. And she asked her mom. She was really perplexed about it. She said, well, that's not fair. And so she's recounting how that impacted her, seeing that. So think about, and I'm sure you all have had to deal with, what our children are seeing and how having them understand history will help shape their thoughts around what they're seeing from. Yeah, it's been an interesting time at home. I'm a parent too, so I know.
Well, what I've heard from young people is things like, so maybe a student who went to school maybe in Northside ISD, but maybe in the lower income parts of Northside ISD, and then they join a sports team and they get on a bus, and next they're playing a school on the far northwest side, and it's this brand new building, and there's a coffee bar and this huge gym, and everything's shiny, and it's what's going on here? Like, what does this mean? What does it mean about my neighborhood? What does this mean
Right.
about the, me and my brown friends who go to the school? Like, what's going on here? And it's what people see, right? Adults can say one thing, but kids,
Yeah.
they're smarter than we give them credit for. They look at what's around them and they put the facts together. And it sounds like
Absolutely.
that's what Peggy was reporting. Is like she was right. She's trying to take this all in and make sense of it. And
Yes.
sometimes you have to look at what people do and look at the choices they made and make them where they put their resources. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and speak it out loud. So April is reminding us that, that's a very good message. I meant to share this. Yes, that San Pedro River Authority, that's the opportunity to speak up on February 16th about the San Pedro Peak Culture Park and
Yes.
preserving the foundations of the St. James AME Church, right? Yeah. Wow. Okay. Gosh. Okay. I'm looking at my notes. I feel like there's so much to talk about. What we covered, what we set out to talk about today, right? Which is, making sure that folks know. I'm going to pop it back up on screen. The San Antonio African American Community Archive and Museum. That there's a
Yes.
physical space opening
Woo-hoo.
on February 25th, right, at La Villita
Yes.
downtown.
Yes.
So that is super exciting. And then if you want to get to the preview, right, you have to get a membership.
Yes.
And then there's the members only events like the tours and I'm really the river tour. That sounds really interesting. Black History River Tour.
We're excited about that. If you're a contributing member, you'll get one of those complimentary a year, but that's okay. If you're not, it's still just $15 a member, and it's a 1-hour tour. So we really look forward to seeing you all there. And Inga knows how to contact me. If there are any questions, feel free to put them in the blog. We want to make Black history accessible. That's why there's no charge to come to the museum. And even with our racial education programs, that's all virtual. We just really want to make it accessible. Yes,
Okay.
April, they will.
Okay, so race ed programming opportunities continue next year.
Yes.
So that's awesome. Yeah. Good deal.
It's not the flavor of the month. It's the life that we live.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. And then it's student driven. It's like they want to learn and they want to help the kids coming, the younger kids to hear these stories as well. So, wow. So yeah, I encourage everybody, find the virtual resources. The blog post does a great job of links to stuff and, you can, I added some news stories so people can, learn about what's coming up and, like location of the new museum and stuff like that.
Thank you so much, Inga. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's been a great conversation. I look forward to post-pandemic and, we can get together at events and tell more stories.
Yes.
I'm eager to learn.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Thank you, charter parents.
Thank you, Deborah. Take care.